Good evening and welcome to Cavan TV, which is part of Irish Web TV. Well, here we are, folks, and we're getting used to the new norm. No crowd gatherings en masse anymore. Social events, sports, theatre, the arts have taken a different way of producing their goods for the people to allow for social distancing. Live music, it's nearly correct to say, is nearly absolutely a non-starter anymore. But we here at Cavan TV hope to, over the next few months, to bring you just exactly that. Some sports interviews, some arts, some music, and common everyday news that's going on in Cavan. We bring that promise to you and we hope to keep it. I'd like you to welcome my first guest in the studio tonight.
My poem, 2020 Memories. Blinded in a winter's dread, no prophet foresaw. Spring's new life erupted into a chaos of fear. Desolation replaced the warmth of a hug. Children banished from our everyday lives. Ah, the blessings. A swift journey home to the unexpected happiness under one roof. Chatter, laughter, a family enduring dark days, come what may. Time. The pickpocket of memories stood still, watching new ways of keeping our hopes alive. To be remembered, cherished, lost moments recaptured before summer's end. An invisible killer started a war. So much pressure on our front line. But it would be love and stay at home that had their back. Death came at a fast pace. Isolation the enemy of a treasured last goodbye. Grief mourned in silent lockdown. And now, the road to healing shattered hearts and souls begins. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to my first two guests this evening. That was Fidel Hogan Walsh, local poet, and with her is Julie Corcoran, and Julie is a conceptual photographer. Very welcome to the studio this evening. It's very warm out this evening, girls, isn't it?
Yeah,
you feel the heat already?
Yeah.
That is a fantastic piece of poetry. We have so much to discuss here this evening, and we have to do it in such a short period of time. I'd like to hold up your book. I know hopefully it'll be on the screen behind. Time. Fidel, tell me about your book, how it came about.
Through lockdown. It's a project that was from March until June, the first 12 weeks of lockdown. Again, because being artistic or whatever, everybody assumes you're going to, I'm sure you got very loads of creativity, you're going to do this, you're going to do that through lockdown. And I kind of went, God, no. Because with all the chaos and the fear that lockdown brought, the one thing, believe it or not, I have an adult child that came, he said to me, sure, I'll come home for the 2 weeks of lockdown, Ma. Thinking it was going to be 2 weeks, but as we know, it wasn't. So my adult child, we call him Jack, which is his name. So for me, it was like, this was bliss. I was blissfully happy. I mean, there's no way in any, you're going to get a grown-up child that's coming home and happy. We got on like a house on fire, the pair of us. He was working from home and it brought structure to my day. I had been writing a few poems at the beginning with all the murmurings going on of, well, maybe, with the pandemic and whatever. And then on April the 1st, I wrote Omen. Omen is one of the darkest poems in the book. And I rang Julie. And I said to Julie, I read it out to her. So Julie will take the story up from there.
Yeah, well, I had an image. As a conceptual photographer, I'm always sort of working on different pieces. I'm also an artist with works in different galleries there in Belfast and Enniskillen. So I had done some work with Fidel on her previous book, where I'd come up with a piece for one of her poems for a bookmark. So we started this project where Fidel would maybe have a poem written and I would say to her, well, wait till I show you this image I've been working on, and they would, more often than not, they'd fit together in some sort of way. Not, you know, in a sort of a serendipitous sort of way. So that's really how the whole thing kicked off with lockdown, both of us in our isolation pods in our family homes, and we were doing this on a sort of a weekly basis where I was creating images, Fidel was writing her poetry, and very often there would be something, you know, in our shared experiences coming through in our artwork.
That is amazing. It's sort of a telepathic synchronicity going on there. That is absolutely amazing. And of course, exactly what is a conceptual photographer? For those of us out there who don't know.
Well, conceptual photography is basically where you're working on a concept or an idea. So very often when I'm thinking of a photograph, I'm not picking up my camera first, I'm picking up a pen. And I'm writing down or I'm sketching out an idea. So I might start with a single word like gratitude or an emotion or something like that, which is where poetry is very strong, and there's a lot of imagery in that. So poetry and conceptual photography, they just suit each other so well. So that's how it really starts. Conceptual photography for me is picking up a pen, planning something, then I'll photograph all the elements myself. So it's usually my daughters would be the models, and if I need a lake, I'll shoot a lake. We've plenty of them here in Cavan. If I need a horse or any of these things, if they're essential to the concept I'm trying to get through to the viewer, I'll go on my little treasure hunt. I'll photograph all these different elements, and then I'll bring them back, because I shoot them on my digital camera, and put them onto my computer, and then I'll layer them up with textures and all sorts of things to make it look more like a painting.
That's amazing. So obviously your background is in art.
No. Not in an education side of things. No, it wouldn't be at all.
It's a gift.
It's more just it's just developed. I started with a camera club, and then I did a lot more work with photography, and I do judging, and I give talks on my photography, and it was just more that conceptual and that art side of photography that attracted me more and more, and that's how I suppose I was drawn to a photographic project under Piece 4. It was a cross-border one with between Baileborough and Dungannon and Cookstown. So that was where we first met, and then everything sort of just fell into place since then.
Okay. So folks, you really have to get the book. You really have to get the book to see the link between the poetry and the conceptual photography as well. You really have to get it. You got I want to speak to you first, Fidel, about Baileborough Creative Hub.
Yeah.
You are a co-founder of that.
I am.
Briefly tell us about that.
Myself and Aine Duffy were part of the next chapter, a cross-border, a piece. It was a peace initiative between 10 counties, south and north. And from that, myself and Sally Ann would be artistic. Sally Ann is a textile artist. And
I think he interviewed you for the Taste of Cavan last year.
Yeah. So, but through all of that, it kind of gave us a voice, and it was kind of, well, what are you waiting for? And who are you waiting for, more importantly? And we kind of went, we're not waiting for anybody. We're going to start it ourselves. So we got the hub, we call it the hub now, the Creative Hub, up and going. We used to have our meetings in the library, and then before we knew it, there was like, I think at the moment now, even through lockdown, we've probably 14, 15 consistent members still. And it was, we literally turned Baileborough last, not this May, the May previous, into the most poetic town in Ireland.
Yes.
We were on the 6-1 News and everything.
6-1 News, I saw
We've done project after project. We dressed the town with all book art that we made ourselves, and then there was Halloween, there was Midsummer Festival, there was St. Patrick's Day. There was just one thing after another, Halloween. But it's been wonderful. Our whole thing was about, there are lots of artists of all different types, and we're not just one type of, like there's painters, sculptors, ceramics, poets, photographers, musicians, everything. So we didn't want to have just one name, so that's where the Creative Hub is. And our thing was, if you're in your kitchen and you're afraid to show your art or show your work, or you've lost confidence or something's happened, we were there to gently bring you back. Show off your stuff, get it out there. And if it meant you got a solo exhibition out of it, we were all 100% behind you. Because as a group, you'll get further, but at the same time we push individuals to keep going. And through COVID, not that we can meet in big numbers or anything like that, but we've kept in touch, and we've kept like maybe 6 at a time meet up, doing different little things, because the big projects at the moment are all on hold. But it doesn't mean that, like, we've done a solo, that's my solo project in a sense, and other people, we've other artists doing the same. They're out there getting exhibitions out and doing whatever. But so we're still going strong.
Amazing. Now you actually are going to have this book out. Well, the book is printed and it's out. And you're going to tell me, Julie, where people can get this book and about the launch night for Culture Night, which is this Friday.
This Friday, the 18th of September. So this was a really exciting aspect of the project when we were trying to think what to do with all our imagery and our poetry. And we got in touch with our arts officer here in Cavan, Katrina, and she suggested we tie in with Culture Night. So that's hence why we're launching the book on Friday night. The book, you can get it at Alan Hanna's bookshop online or in Rathmines in Dublin. eprint.ie is another online place where you can get it. Then in Cavan, you've got Eason's in Cavan, you've got Harris's Super Value in Baileborough, and then you've got Duffy's Cost Cutter in Shercock, and then we've got Eason's in Monaghan, Graham's of Monaghan, we've got Inta's Castleblaney, and Birdie's Newsagent. So we're getting them out there, and if anyone has any ideas or they'd like to see them somewhere where they live locally, maybe we could, get in touch with us through either our Facebook pages. I mean, Fidel has her own Facebook page, I have a Facebook page, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. You've got a great handle on Twitter and Instagram. You wouldn't think it, it's Dragon Slayer Ma.
Dragon Slayer Ma is mine.
Yeah.
Where it came from was when my baby was a tiny, tiny baby. I'll make it very quickly. I remember looking at him, there was an adorable, tiny little newborn baby, and I always, he's 27 now, and if he heard me now, he'd be proud. So anyway, I used to say to him, I'll fight your dragons, darling, until you're old enough to fight your own. So that's where Dragon Slayer Ma came from.
Brilliant, brilliant.
And we've another event that we're actually launching the book twice.
Yeah, and you've got your video as well. I want you to tell us about.
Yes. How we're doing it is we're doing it online, so anybody anywhere in the world can access this on Culture Night. So it's 7:15 on the Cavan Arts YouTube channel. Go in there, you can click the reminder if it's before 7:15 and you'll get a little notification, but the video's going live there, and we've got Charlie McGettigan launching the book, we've got music from the 251s, we've got testimonials from our family and friends, all the people who helped us and supported us all throughout this project. Of course, Fidel reading her poetry, fabulous introduction from myself speaking as a photographer. So that's the video that we have on the Cavan Arts YouTube channel, which will be going live at 7:15 on Culture Night. And then at 8 o'clock, if you go over to Hamley and Hamley's Facebook page, they're based in Enniskillen, Fermanagh and Oma Arts have created this Culture by Candlelight event, and we were up there last week recording it, and it's fabulous, and it's going to be a real treat. Lots of different musicians, but Fidel again reading the poems.
So log on to Cavan Art YouTube.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Log on to Cavan Art YouTube and go to see this.
Yes. And you get the full launch then.
And you get all the details of where to get the book and all the whole lot. Everything's there, and loads of entertainment and great music.
Well done, ladies, again. It's an absolutely fantastic book, and it's lovely to look at it as well. It's lovely. It's a nice book to have on your shelf, if like to go back and look at again, as is what poetry books are. Now, please go and get a book. You really have to see what they're talking about. And when you hear the story of a book like that, it makes it. When you hear the story, I feel it's like when Christy Moore sings a song. He tells you the story of the song before he sings the song, and then the song means so much more. So now the ladies have told the story of their book. Time, it means so much more. Thank you, ladies. Now, just one more thing. Say if somebody comes along and says, "Oh, Fidel, I'm a secret closet poetry writer, but I don't want to. I write stuff and I tear it up the next day." What would you say to them?
It was interesting. We've only had a conversation with a lady earlier, and her father is 80 whatever, and she has been trying to get him to write down his poetry. But again, sometimes it can be, I don't want anyone to see my words. So I would start a journal, or if not a journal, type them. Get them into some kind of physicality. Now, in my case, say it's on a laptop. And when you're in there and you see them written down, rather if they're in your head, or if you write them down and you throw it in the bin, you've got rid of maybe a little masterpiece. And you didn't realise you had one.
Keep it, yeah.
Exactly. And even for anybody that's used to writing anything, you may only have 4 lines or something, and if you got rid of them, you'll never get them back, because it's like you and I having a conversation. You're not going to really remember all we've said now. So get them written down, whether by pen, but keep them. don't throw them away.
So that's
Because
a
your
great
confidence might come back, or something will happen and you'll go, oh, I'm going to finish that now. And the joy when you actually, there it is, done. So don't throw them away. Keep even one-liners, bits of them, keep them.
Right. Well, that's a great tip. Actually, I would say the same about writing music and songs and things like that. You should record it and go back and listen to it again later.
Exactly.
And you pick maybe one line out of it. That's good.
Exactly.
Well done.
Thank you.
I'd like to say once again, first of all, I'd like to wish you the very best with your video on Culture Night. There is going to be so much on Culture Night everywhere, and please make sure you go and have a look at that. And of course, it's there forever for people to go back and see it.
Yeah.
If you miss things on Culture Night, you can go back and see them again. Thank you so much, ladies, for coming all the way from Baileborough to see us today. Thank you very much, and well done. Again, folks, it's a book you have to see and you have to read, and and thank you very much for that most meaningful reading of your poem again, which is what's the name of it again?
2020 Memories.
2020 Memories.
Yeah.
All about our present time,
exactly.
our present day.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you so much to Julie Corcoran, conceptual photographer, and to Fidel Hogan Walsh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Local poet, and thank you so much for coming into Cavan TV.
Thank you for having us.